Welcome to the Squeaky Wheel Farm. Hi, I'm Christine, and today my project is to get this hoop house cleaned up so that it's usable. Some people call it a high tunnel. I'm a little embarrassed by how it looks. It's quite messy. My husband has reassured me that anybody who does gardening will understand that this is how things can look in the wintertime. The mess does get away from you, and when it's icy and cold, I just don't feel like coming out here. So come along with me. I'm gonna see what I can do as far as getting this place cleaned up.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals that take us higher.
Now, one thing I probably haven't explained yet, and that since this is just single wall plastic, doesn't retain a whole lot of heat, and I don't have heat source in here, it's really not useful in the wintertime. One, because it's so dark here, and I would need grow lights in here. And the other thing is because it doesn't retain a lot of heat. So there's a couple months out of the year that I just can't do anything in here. It's kind of useless other than storing pots and containers, and I really didn't wait it before I just closed the door and let it go. Now, if it's staying above, say 40 degrees at nighttime, then I'm relatively safe to plant out here. Plants really don't grow though without the sunlight. They need a lot of light to get started. They need the heat. At least the soil temperatures have to be warm enough so that the seeds will start to germinate. And then they also need to stay somewhat warm so that the frost doesn't kill them. So this hoop house allows me to gain an extra month or two on either side of my planting season for out in the big garden. Our last frost date is May 10th, so the earliest that I would want to plant anything in here other than cool weather crops would be March 10th. And then if I do plant some fall crops, I can carry those through probably late November usually, before things really quick growing and the frost takes over. Now, when I get this place cleaned up, I'll walk you through and explain what I do have as far as systems here in this greenhouse.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire.
One thing that I wanted to show you, this is from experience. If you can afford to buy the better trays, I'm not sure if I bought these off of Amazon last year or Johnny's Seed, but the really heavy duty, much better than these flimsy little things that, as you can see, this is cracked. Probably, I don't know, I might use that again if I'm really desperate, but I'm trying to move towards the heavy duty ones. I'll leave a link in the description in case you're interested. But they are more expensive, but in my opinion, they're well worth the money.
We're gonna be two hearts running wild.
It's cleaned up too, because I do plan on reusing this year. It's just a planter, but it's a self-watering planter, and it's really convenient. We've got an area on our front porch that's underneath the roof, so it doesn't get a lot of rain, and it's one of those areas that just doesn't get watered frequently. So by having a self-watering system on my flowers, it just really helps out a lot.
As the hours pass, we're gonna do it all again.
old soaker hose that I've been using the last couple of years to water my plants in here. Soaker hoses work well for my purpose, but this type of soaker hose is kind of made out of rubber, and they only last a year or two, so when they start to fail, I replace them with the ones that are like a canvas fire hose. I don't know, the best I can describe it, it's made out of canvas. They're flat instead of round, but they seem to hold up a whole lot better, and they're about the same price. This ProMix is what I've been using for the last couple of years, and I really like it. It's not perfect. It does have a few sticks and twigs in there. I usually just sift them out, but it's equal to 2 bags of the regular seed starting mix. So it's got a nice handle. They come in compressed squares, and I really like that. I haven't found anything in this area that works better than this.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine.
Just wanted to show you this. These are slats from one of those old cheap window blinds. Cut it apart, and I'm able to cut it into strips, you know, like 4 to 6 inches, whatever you need, and then just mark on permanent marker. Makes a whole lot of plant markers. Takes a little bit of time, but they're basically free because it's something that I had. I was gonna throw it away anyway.
Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the
And these are little greenhouse covers. I don't know what they're called. But it's basically just a small greenhouse. It zips up. I don't use them out in the garden because they'll blow away. But they are really handy for inside here because, you know, if it gets cold and I've got some plants that need an extra layer of cover, these work just fine. If you don't have one of these, you might think about getting one. It's called a Stirrup Hoe, and I've used mine so much. It's worth its weight in gold to me. Mine's quite old. It needs a new stick, but it still does the job, and it allows you to have a lot more control over just a regular hoe. It helps to break up the roots. The last thing I want to do in here to get this ground ready is, first of all, I want to spray it down really well with the hose because it's tremendously dry in here. It hasn't had any water in here since, well, late last summer. And it's really dried out, which is why I'm sneezing. The inside of the plastic could stand to be sprayed down too, because any dirt on the plastic is going to hinder the sunlight coming through. I've got a few electrical cords that I need to wind up first. and we'll get it sprayed down and just help that moisture work through the soil before I put some more compost on it, and then it'll be ready to plant.
We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light. Pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top.
Okay, I've been working at it for a while, and even though I don't have something green and beautiful to show you, I've got all the weeds out, I've got a lot of the dirty pots out, and I was able to spray it down so it's not dusty in here anymore, and it all came through and put just a fine layer of compost, old manure on the top, so that'll help refresh the soil. So I wanted to explain some of the things that I have in here. These hoops, in the wintertime I've planted stuff before, and then when things needed extra cover because it got really cold, I'd just throw a piece of plastic over the top, and that would give it some extra protection. When he was laying the foundation for this greenhouse, he had a couple of rolls of this plastic drainage tile. So there's somewhere between 100 and 200 feet under the ground, between 6 and 8 feet down. And he just coiled it down and then brought it up in two places, one on that side and one on that side. The ground is 50 to 52 degrees all the time. So by having those tubes down there, I can pull up the air with this fan and bring up some 50-degree air. That being said, this greenhouse, or hoop house, is 14 by 21, I believe. So I don't know how many cubic square feet that is, but I would have to have some bigger fans to push that air through the tubes, and maybe even some more tubes to be able to get a whole lot of heat out of there. So what I'm trying to say is I get some benefit from it, somewhere between 2 and 4 degrees of warmth, depending on the ambient temperature outside. So that's something. The second system that we have in place is Paul got some drums for me and put water in them, and on sunny days in the winter time, the water will soak up the heat, give off that heat during the night. Good, because this greenhouse has just a single layer of plastic. Once the sun is down, it's just not retaining the heat. Now I understand that if I put a second layer of plastic over this and blew air between them so that there was a gap consistently, like a 4-inch gap, that could give me another 3 to 5 degrees because it acts like insulation. It's just an air barrier. So those are the things we've got going in this greenhouse. The things that we need to work on in the summertime. The only cooling that I have is this window here with the fans, which run all the time. And I have a screen door at the other end, which I prop open, and then I'll put a fan in there. Besides, I can roll them up, but I don't have anything automatic, and it takes 2 people to do it. And it's not something I do on a daily basis because I don't have a pipe in there yet. So it's got wiggle wire on the bottom, and it's really hard to manage just one person. So when it gets warm enough to where I need to have some airflow through here, then we come out and we undo the wiggle wire and roll it up, and it stays that way for the rest of the summer. So that's one of the things that I want to improve in here is by getting some pipes in there so that I can roll it up and down. So that's what I've got. Doesn't look like much right now because nothing's in here, nothing's growing, and nothing's green, and I would prefer to be able to show you that, but a couple more weeks. It's too early yet, and plants just will not survive. Now, if I put brassicas out here, or cold hardy plants, I could put peas, I can do broccoli and such, but the problem is it's just not going to grow right now. We don't have enough sunlight days, and without grow lights, they'd just be dormant. The plants, the seed, everything would just be, stuck in the ground and nothing would grow. And if I just put seed in the ground, there's a good chance that it would just rot and not germinate at all. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing. I hope to see you again soon.